Hey guys, it's Liberty Whispers here with another video. First and foremost, apologies if the sound quality is not as good as it normally is. It's just that my usual microphone is playing silly games with my laptop at the minute and is being somewhat unreliable to say the least. So it could be a case of me using my internal mic for the time being, and if that's the case and the sound quality dips, then all I can do is apologise, guys, and I will try and fix out my technical issues as soon as possible. So yeah, technical disclaimer out the way. I'm feeling inspired, and I'll tell you why. Because I just rewatched Whispering in Blue's gallery video, in which she uses a art gallery as an analogy for our lovely community that we have here, and you know, it's just such a great video, and I'm, I know some of you are thinking, well, of course you're going to say that, and yeah, you know, I am somewhat biased, but the truth is, if you listen to it in full and you listen to what Blue's saying and kind of looking at, and the way she approaches the subject, there's a lot of truth and a lot of common sense, which just doesn't really get addressed very often in there. And I also just watched Tasha's latest rock relaxation video. I mean, I love those rock videos, I really do, but this one was really insightful, as they always usually are, but for me, for some reason, this one just really gave me an added kick of inspiration, along with the gallery video from Blue. In the rock relaxation video, it's insightful because Tasha kind of looks at the sort of dynamics in relationships, and people's overall perception of other people, and I think that mixed with the content from Blue's gallery video has really kind of inspired me, because at the minute this community is in a kind of state of the wobbles at the minute, for one reason or another. I don't know the full story, but I know enough to know roughly what's been going on, and it is a shame, and I kind of touched on it a couple of videos back, but I didn't really want to get into it on the negative side, and I'm not going to get into it on the negative side. Instead, I'm going to kind of approach the subject from a more positive view, or at least try. And I do hope this doesn't come across as preachy. I'm not trying to be preachy at all. You know, I'm just putting my inflection on the subject out there in this video. And I kind of just wanted to make this because what is sad about the, for lack of a better word, drama that's been going on, is the fact that some people are just sort of up and leaving the community for one reason or another, and that is really, really sad, the fact that people feel like they have no other option but to just either leave for good, or leave on like some kind of shortened hiatus, or whisper sabbatical, as it were. It's not good, and it's, you know, it's actually quite sad to see, because the thing is, this is a community, and like it or not, the community is pretty much a family, and like most families, you have people who you get on with more than you do others, and unfortunately, like most families, you have people that just irritate the hell out of you. But I think that despite that, there's still a sort of underlying respect, because they are here for the same reasons that we all are, really. And it's sad when things like that happen, but I mean, what I'm trying to get at is that in order for the community to kind of work cohesively and be the beautiful, harmonious place that it normally is requires compromise. Like every good relationship, it requires compromise. And to kind of dip into Blue's analogy, the community really is kind of like an art gallery where everybody's putting their own pieces of art, and that's basically what it is. Because if you think about art and its flexible definition, because I don't think that there really is a solid definition of art, but if you look at the flexible definition, that art can be a expression of how you are feeling, or an expression of something you have experienced, put into manifested into some kind of tangible or interactive element. That's basically what we are doing. As whisperers, we are putting out pieces of art, and to some people it might not seem that way, but if you look at it, the sort of like the flexible definition, which I've kind of covered, it definitely kind of does fit that bill. And yeah, there are going to be pieces that people don't like, and there are going to be pieces that people do like, and that's the beautiful thing about having a community that is filled with as many varied and different personalities and people and cultures, is that there is so much on offer. It's just amazing, and that's what amazes me about the community each and every day, is when you get people from all over the world who have different insights and different sort of views of different things. And I think that's fantastic that we, rather, as a group of people, as a community, as a sort of functioning or dysfunctional as it is at the minute family, have this spectrum and palette of knowledge and insight, and that we can put it out there for other people to find and connect with. On the flip side, you're not always going to get that, but the wonderful thing is that we have the ability to put it out there. We have this freedom of expression. We have the ability to create this art. But also, equally, what's just as important and as amazing, really, when you look at it as the finer thing it is, yes, it might be a small detail in comparison to a lot of things, but the freedom of choice, that's what we all have, and that's something that I think, to a certain degree, we all kind of take for granted at points. I know I certainly do. I know I've certainly been guilty of that, but the freedom of choice is just as wonderful as the freedom of expression. And you look at certain places in the world that don't have that freedom of choice, and you kind of think it just how lucky we are to be able to either run with something or to just leave it be. And the fact that we have the ability to kind of initiate and put forth this sort of cognitive process of compromise is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And like I said, like every relationship, its key dynamic to success or failure is the ability to compromise. And I know that to some people this might seem a bit rich, coming from me, where I'm going to head to, but you need to kind of be able to fluctuate your gears in terms of processing and thinking. I think anyway. I say this might be a bit rich because when people put out stuff that you don't like, or that you may find in bad taste or offensive, for example, it is important to be able to make a stance if it's something you believe in, to be able to address it and not damn it. The thing is, you have to look at everything in perspective, and you have to think about your approach, and you have to kind of analyze how you're going to go about addressing certain things. And yeah, this is where it kind of becomes a bit rich for me, because I have been guilty of maybe being a little bit overheated in the past and responding in not exactly a positive way, but sometimes you need that, sometimes it really is kind of an entity that is made up of two halves, is the whole system of expression, because sometimes you need to have that side to you where you are just willing and confident enough and able to say, no, I don't like this, this is wrong, and I don't agree with this. But again, it needs to be doctored, it needs to be, controlled, and to be effective, for you to actually kind of really put that forth in an effective manner, you need to be able to kind of control that, because it can be, and I'm speaking from personal experience, when you let that kind of emotion just sort of run wild, it can be extremely damning, not only to other people, not only to other members of your community or your family or your circles, but more importantly, it can be very damning to yourself, and it can take a huge toll on you as a person, and it can really wear you down, and it can eat at you like a cancer within, and it's not nice at all. But sometimes elements of it are necessary to be able to create a sort of equilibrium in terms of your expression. But the other side to that coin, to kind of borrow a video title from Good Whispers there, is that you kind of have to look at things from a more positive angle, and sometimes the best thing for you and for everybody else is to just let things go, and that is kind of what I'm experiencing myself more now. I'm learning, because I'm still learning, I'm still, as much as I'm putting this out, I'm still learning, and I guess this is part of my learning process as well, is that sometimes you just have to let things go, and sometimes if something either doesn't appeal to you, or something comes across that you don't like, or you have some kind of issue with something, sometimes the best option is to just walk away, and not think about it, and put your time into something that is going to please you, something that is going to make you happy, and something that's going to have more positive repercussions, not only on the people around you, but with you yourself, It's a compromise, and that is what makes this varied collective of cultures and personalities so unique, and it's what makes it work so well, is the fact that for the most part, everybody compromises really well with each other, but of late it just seems like that train's kind of beginning to rattle off the rails a little bit, and it can be hard when somebody is either too aggressive or too passive with somebody. It can have even bad effects, but it should by no means ever lead to having somebody leave, and I think that we are at a place where, we need harmony with each other more than ever, and, I kind of just want to finish this off by saying, if you are somebody that has left the community lately, or you are thinking of leaving the community because of the drama that's been going on, that is always your choice, but, please think about it before you do it, because as much as you may have somebody or some people that don't want you here, always going to be people that do want you here and that love you and appreciate what you do.